So what you're seeing on one time frame, you have to be very aware that it has an ulterior effect on another time frame, as to where this in this moment is going to be like perfect entry, right? But as soon as this trend breaks, right? So now realize that yes, okay, this is perfect entry, but now we've created another scenario where we basically have to hold this level, because if we don't hold this hold level, or even this one, we can just delete that hold level. That's fine. Or even if we don't hold this, we are automatically going to break trend. If we can't hold that, we are going to be forced into trend break. So this is a way to see failure, right? This is a way that you can see failure in a move, and it could even be here that it holds. Let's just step through a couple candles. At first, it would be that, right? Because that's going to be that first hold level, right? So it's going to be here. This is like that. If you identify the perfect hold level, you can always get like a free entry to see where something goes, because if you have entered here and it's the perfect hold level, and we actually do keep laddering up, you've made profit. And a case in point where you've actually hit this level and validated the trade by coming back down, this is a point where you can sell. And if you did this 100 times and you're only right 5% of the time, you'd still make great amounts of money. So it's you identify the correct hold, but the problem is after you identify the hold, there's other things that have to happen. So like in this case here, like this 12-hour level actually probably can't hold if we break trend, which means that if we are going to test back trend, we are automatically breaking this hold, which means we're testing this leg right here, which means if we are testing this leg here, we're actually creating a downtrend like this, which means we are going to be forced into testing this to break down into the next hold, which is actually going to be a positive confirmation through all that negativity that you're actually laddering on a longer time frame. So there becomes a certain mastery that you have to have. Hold and break levels are very tough and very advanced. Like this is not easy stuff. But then, if we just kind of walk through the move, let's go here, a couple of candles. And that's that kind of the that trend that we're talking about creating. Maybe I'll turn this away from black. I remember people had a tough time seeing the black trends yesterday. I'll turn them to silver. That's better. Okay, let's delete this here. Let's delete this here. Let's delete this here. So in this case in point where you've identified the correct hold here, now you're pretty much just setting up the failure. When you break this down, it's a free roll to see if you can actually break this up here. Right? Like you're trying to break this side up here. And when you can't break this side, you're probably stopping at the inverse level, which I'm assuming the inverse level is a smaller time frame right here on the candle. So I'm assuming there's a fractal level in there, a 4-hour fractal, just the way the candle looks. You can kind of see that there's a fractal valley in there. So this is that kind of that point in time where you are looking at this thing. We go back to the replayer tool here. It's moving up. Let's delete these. Kind of can't really see anything, can we? Okay, so fine. It tops out there, and this is kind of the perfect hold here, right? Right there, it hits the hold level. Great, that's perfect. You've created this trend like this. You've hit your hold level. You've created your trend. You're trying to break out of this side of the valley. You probably have the inverse somewhere in here. I'm probably like an hourly or whatever. You can just tell because the candle comes down, it comes up here. So there's some kind of peak and valley in there. Now you really need to test this back in order to move up. Otherwise, you're just going to hold the move down, and you're creating the same thing you're creating on both sides. Like when you created this one down here, now you're creating this one up here for that and for that, right? So this is a situation where you entered here and you could exit on this level because you're seeing that it's not able to break up, which is stopping the ladder, right? As opposed to this one right here, which does break up at this point, right? Like you actually do break your valley here, right? So you're just repeating the same cycle over and over and over and over, because that's going to show you what's happening locally. It's not a long-term failure. It's not. This is a local attack, right? Like this is very local to the move. You've hit this whole level, and you're trying to locally break this little valley right here, like this little valley that was created, just like you broke this one here to move up. Right? In a sense, this is local to that time frame, just like where this little one here is local to this time frame. Like you have to keep breaking these to ladder up to keep moving. Otherwise, what happens is you create this thing here, right? You create that downtrend. So then you can see where you lose trend. It's basically setting you up for automatic failure. as opposed to this where you've come back up, you've actually attacked the valley back here. And then same thing with this here, like you've attacked the valleys here, you've attacked the valleys here. And in this moment, your swing back up is actually failing down, which isn't necessarily, again, it's not necessarily long-term failure either, but in this part of the move, like this is gone, we've lost trend. You can see the moment where you lose trend in the distribution that happens immediately after. So you hit the hold level to try to attack the valley can't get hit. You hit the hold level, instead you attack this hold level. This is holding the move down. You're going to have distribution. And then on top of this inverse hold level being hit, you're actually losing your trend that was here too. So then you can just see the bigger onset of distribution that's going to happen when you hit this hold level, right? So then as you step through this thing, same exact thing is happening right here probably. See how you hit trend? You actually have to break over this trend to even try to fuel this move up. And it's just further, it's just further distribution because you actually can't break trend and you never actually hit this level either. But this is probably fractal to the daily, which this one up here is the one you're going after against this whole level, which was already kind of broken down. So let's delete this, let's delete this, let's delete this. And then you can see like we're caught on local trend here, right? So we are caught on local trend, but the problem is we are fighting this kind of local distribution right here, right? See, we're just fighting that original level, this level right here that created this whole thing is the same level as it is right now. It's just adapted out to the next candle, right? And so this is kind of like the hold and breaks, like, yes, okay, so this is true, but then there's other stuff going on the chart that can show you what's happening next, right? So then in this point here, had you been too greedy, going back to the original question, had you been too greedy and just said like, I want to go after this hold level, that's fine. That's a decision you make. That's fine. Okay, you can go after that level and there's a good chance it will get hit, but you have then just missed this entire thing. And what are we talking about here? A month, February 17th to April 3rd. So there is, right, that yes, this is a legitimate spot to put a hold level, and it is greedy, but if it's too greedy, you just missed a month of action because it was too greedy as to where in the moment, if you identified the correct hold level, you literally had perfect entry to the dollar. Like I don't know how close this got, but you know, if we use magnet tool to see how close it got, we can see. Oh, I could just hover over the candle. What am I doing? So the low was 129.6, 129.58. It's so close. It's insane. Yep, 129.604, 129.588. You're talking about fractions of a penny. So identifying the correct hold is definitely crucial, just like it would have been here. Identifying this hold here. See, it's trying to hold this move to go up. It actually fails to attack this. Probably failed some fractal level inside of this candle here. Some micro time zone stuff going on in there. I don't know. I can't really dissect it, but anyways, that's the same thing, right? You would have come down, you would have tested the hold to try to see if the move can continue to go up in the event of trying to break something like this, and it can't, right? So greed is what begets people when it comes to hold levels. But then if you're not greedy enough sometimes and you misidentify, you've just bought too high, right? Because these could be 1 minute candles, for example, and we just bought way too high, right? We just bought, 2% too high. We already kind of know what's happening here. We're going to just come down and actually this should be moved out a little bit, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Just going to come back down and test that next hold level. So it holds the level through the trend break, and now it is trying to use this trend break to ladder up fractally on a larger time frame as to where, let's take that away, let's take this away, let's take these trends away. We don't need those trends. We don't even need this trend right now. And you can simply see that when you strip it all down and you've identified the right hold level, yeah, you'll get perfect entry. But greed begets entry because you can always be greedier. Like there's never a point where you can just say, oh, I just want to be greedier. Like you could go to the weekly chart now and you could say, wow, I want to be super greedy and buy this fractal hold level here, wherever this is. Like you could just go and be to the point where and then you can go to the monthly and say, well, I think we're going to come back down and test the hold level inside of this, or wherever it is in here. They're going to test this. Like you just greed begets you.
Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Yeah, drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.